something that we all acknowledge is a major risk that will worsen over the years to come. And lots can be done to mitigate those risks, and we'll be going through them tonight. You turn on your radio and you hear this.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio.
Good evening. South Australians are being urged to take care this week with a run of temperatures forecast to trigger heatwave conditions. Temperatures are set to soar into the 40s, with the Bureau saying there is no immediate relief in sight.
Ambulance call-outs went up, emergency department presentations went up, hospital admissions doubled from about 8% to 16%, and mortality went up by a huge amount. And the people who are vulnerable are the old and frail in particular, those in particular with renal, cardiac and mental health issues, and who are taking medications for those who are socially isolated, who live alone, and who are in lower socioeconomic and educational status areas.
Our roles basically look after the rough sleepers, those people who are the most vulnerable, suffering from...
They're the people sleeping in parks.
Absolutely, and it sometimes takes a little bit of time to get word out, and if we get a late activation, that makes it a little bit harder, but got a great staff group who will drive around and cover the CBD and make sure that people know where to come to for the night.
When there is a code red, you're immediately at the Red Cross. You're pretty much activated, and your tele service is amazing, where you call these vulnerable people that Paddy was talking about and you try and talk them through these heat waves. What exactly goes on there?
We make over 1,000 calls to people in the community in South Australia who are most at risk. So our aim is to ensure that people are well prepared, looking after others, so that, in fact, calling an ambulance and being admitted to hospital is actually the last resort.
Good evening. South Australians are being urged to exercise extreme caution as the heatwave conditions extend into a second week. The Bureau of Meteorology is currently forecasting 44 for Monday and Tuesday, before a slight drop in temps to 38 and 36 on Wednesday and Thursday. However, temperatures are set to rise again on the weekend and will reach into the mid-40s.
Schools have a continuity of service policy, and schools wouldn't shut. There's talk now of schools as community hubs, where people can come, and it's fine being with their kids, and there's another place that takes the pressure off than the other public places.
Yeah.
The way our emergency arrangements across the state work is it is a collaborative approach. To a certain extent, the community will become self-regulated, self-evacuation, and people just getting themselves home is often what happens in these situations, and we find that there are not issues of public disorder.
I would still say that one of the things that probably worries many of us a great deal is the number of people who feel like they live in a city, so they don't think that they live anywhere near bushfire danger, and we just know that not to be true.
Yesterday, temperatures in Adelaide hit 48.1 degrees, setting a new heat record for an Australian capital city. As what is now being called the Great Heatwave of 2025 heads into the third week, relief is in sight, with the Bureau forecasting the heatwave to come to an end by the weekend. The Bureau says thunderstorms are expected to initially produce dry lightning, which could trigger bushfires across the Mount Lofty ranges. This will be followed by heavy winds and rainfall in some areas, and rainfall totals of over 50 mils in an hour in southern Adelaide could lead to localised flooding.
This is absolutely awful. It doesn't get much worse than this, does it?
Well, I think the most important thing is to understand all of the kind of information that we're talking about tonight, but don't go to despair, go to action.
Learn how to be healthy in the heat, and teach your children, friends, neighbours and relatives how to stay healthy in the heat.
I think we could be getting to know our communities better, so we know who might be vulnerable.
Yeah, make sure you know what community facilities are nearby that you can actually seek refuge in, and do a first aid course would be another thing that I would say. Prepare yourself for injuries in hot weather.
Yeah, the one take-home message from me is around a whole of community response to be proactive and to take protective behaviours, whether that's protective behaviours for yourself in terms of your own personal behaviours and how you stay healthy during these events, whether it's protecting your loved ones and neighbours, your pets, or indeed you're protecting your workforce in terms of thinking about their welfare under the conditions.
I think like so many things in life, knowledge is power. So if you don't know, then you're much more at risk.
I am concerned about where the climate's going, and that's why I'm here tonight.
I feel like I can stay safe in a heatwave as long as I can A, afford to pay my power bills, and B, as long as the power remains on.
The heat seems to be more intense, or it could even be just that I'm older and I feel it more. Either way, I need to be considering my response to warmer weather.
The things I've learned through my job and through SA Health and Red Cross have helped me to stay safe in a heatwave. So drinking plenty of water, seeking shade, and just generally looking after myself, but also looking after my loved ones who are vulnerable.